after dropping 2 points on Sunday, Liverpool lost. I don't even know what to say about that one because Liverpool was in 3 goals to 2 against Fulham. Arsenal had the chance to close that point to 9 points, but it still remains 11 points ahead of Arsenal. So they still have all the chances in this life to win that league. It's going to be something like a miracle for them to lose, and maybe 4 games for Arsenal to have a chance to win that Premier League. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Volt Sports on Volt 104.3 FM. My name is Godwin, and today we are going to talk about all the games that happened in EPL at the weekend and the La Liga at the weekend. Even the NPFL happened this weekend. Good morning, John. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good morning, football maniacs. Welcome to another exciting show.
Good morning, also.
As it dey sweet us, e dey pain them. Welcome to the show, guys. Ugo Badwele tired today.
Okay, remember, guys, we are live on YouTube at Volt FM Sports. You can go there, join us, and we're going to be reading your comments. Drop your comments. We are going to be reading your comments live here in the studio. Okay, let's dive into the Premier League immediately. The result of the weekend's game: Everton and Arsenal played at a 1-1 draw in that early kickoff. Other results on Saturday: Crystal Palace 2, Brighton 1. Good result for Crystal Palace. Ipswich losing at home to Wolves. Wolves is going to survive this Premier League. They are going to play Premier League this season, obviously, after beating Ipswich Town 2-1 away from home. West Ham and Bournemouth played a 2-2 draw. The final game of on Saturday is Aston Villa beating Nottingham Forest 2-1. On Sunday, Brentford and Chelsea played at a 0-0 draw. Fulham beating Liverpool 3-2. Spurs obviously beating Southampton 3-1. Southampton are relegated from the Premier League after having only 10 points in that Premier League, so they are back to the Championship with 8 games remaining. And finally, the Manchester Derby: Manchester United 0, Manchester City 0. Okay, let's start with the Arsenal game. Arsenal played at the 1-1 draw, and we know on Saturday we are talking about the preview. We are saying that they are going to probably rest a couple of players, as well as Saliba, because of Gabriel is injured, so let him rest Saliba. But Saliba played the 90 minutes, and he had to rotate some of the players. Like Saka was on the bench, Odegaard was on the bench, Partey was on the bench, and other players came in. But it was a disappointing result for Arsenal because Liverpool lost. That's why I think it's a disappointing result, because if they have won this game and Liverpool lost, it's 9 points, and you know that they have to still play Liverpool,
of course,
at some point in the last 8 games. But 1-1 the scoreline. Disappointing result for Arsenal.
Disappointing result for Arsenal, and I keep coming back to the same conversation, and I'll keep hampering on it because in a game where you expect Arsenal to start their first 11, barring Saliba because of the challenge in the Champions League, Arteta went and did the total reverse, rested a couple of other players, except the most important player who needed to be rested on this occasion. And what happened? We had a part of a match where Arsenal looked like they were not themselves in this encounter. Now, forgetting about the fact that they were robbed in this encounter because it should have ended a 1-0 win, Arsenal will feel hard done by, because that was not a penalty in my books, definitely. But Arteta has done it again by going to touch what needing to be touched. I keep saying it here. You don't need to be a tinkerer. What is working, let it work. There's no need for you to over stress, over finesse, over something that is. What's the use reinventing the wheel? But I think Arteta and Arsenal fans should have Arteta as the center focus of all their misery this weekend, because Arteta caused it.
They have a game tomorrow. We are going to talk about that game tomorrow. Important game for them tomorrow, but against Everton. Everton, since Moyes has took over that club, I think he has done relatively well. If you look at the way he took them off, when probably they are almost joining the relegation battle, then he has stabilized them. Now they are going to play Premier League next season. So we are going to see what they are going to do, because part of the thing they said, the owners said to Moyes that they are going to spend very well. They have not really spent for the past 5 years. So they are going to
investors.
More cash flow for Everton. But this game, disappointing game for Arsenal.
Mikel Arteta, they are the source of our problem. And the song with the trend now. Arteta is the cause of Arsenal's problem. Forget the building period, forget the phase where he started off selling off the players that were fringe players and getting in his players. Now he's gotten in his players and he's still tinkering. And I said it in the show on Saturday before the game. And after the match on Saturday, if you check out the podcast on YouTube, if you tinker around with what is working, you have a problem. Who are you going to pair with Saliba? Was the key question in that tinkering. If you play a normal midfield, you bench player, who is going to pair with Saliba? And in the end of the day, you play the normal back line we expected you to play, the Luis Kelly, the Saliba, and the other guy, and you play the back line the way everybody expected you to play. Then you went ahead to tinker in midfield. You put in Jorginho and Moreno in midfield. Now we expected Saka to start off on the bench because he just come back from injury. You need to manage him. So 30 minutes of football is okay for Saka at the moment. Last match, 30 minutes of football. This game, 30 minutes of football. Next match, maybe he starts against Real Madrid. We don't know. But 30 minutes of football in the last 2 matches was just okay for Saka. I'm not going to fault him at that. But in midfield, what were you thinking? That was Jorginho and this guy starting for you. Why were they even in the lineup? They could have started from the bench. Maybe, okay, fine, you say you want to put in a Sterling. You want to give Sterling his time to at least fight for the shirt. You say, okay, let Trossard start. Let Sterling start with one area up front. Then at some point, you take out one Sterling and bring in a Merino.
Which shirt will Sterling they fight for?
I say maybe you go one start now, at least, just to give a hope, say, it's still there for the team. But that's from that midfield going forward, Arsenal didn't have anything going for them.
Okay, the
It's just
controversy.
disappointing, man.
The controversy in that game, penalty or no penalty?
Was
No
there contact?
penalty.
Ojiaka Kojiroyaka.
No penalty.
Was there contact? Because on this show,
Was
you
there
know,
contact
you know-
outside the box, yes or no?
yes, there was contact outside
So
the
what are
box,
we saying, man?
and there was contact in the box.
Somebody escorted somebody to fall inside
And
the
you
team
dragged
and
him down.
you're
You
giving a
see,
penalty. Drag waiting
you know
down.
the sweet thing about football, eh? If I hold you and you hold me, now the hand wey referee see they blow for, sure you know.
I think
And-
part of the problem
And Harrison left him as when he made that first toe inside the box.
you know what I noticed in the Premier League?
Mm,
If a referee makes a call,
mm.
like for an on-field call, for example, it
Mm.
goes for a penalty. It's always very hard for VAR to overturn that penalty. I always notice that in the Premier League. Once they give it,
But
they are looking for excuse to give it. But
Mhm.
once they say play on, I hardly tell them to go, especially
And that's the
except
role
that-
of
that's
VAR
always-
in the first place.
That's always the problem with the Premier League. They don't, when it favors them, they just review. But it's what it is. I don't want to enter into that if it's a
was
penalty.
there
But
contact?
when they gave the penalty,
As long as there was contact, it's a
and-
penalty.
and that
Bro,
one
there was
is-
no contact if you ask me, man.
so they gave penalty and Luis Kelly considered the penalty and it was 1-1 on the night, not on the night though, in the afternoon. That game ended 1-1. Arsenal dropping 2 points. Okay, let's move on to the next game. The 3 p.m. games now. Crystal Palace beating Brighton 2-1. No more, Brighton fell off.
Hmm?
I have high hopes for them.
Actually,
I had high hopes
Fabian
for
on my
them.
man,
I
but
don't know what to do them.
Fabian on my
And
man,
Mateta
but
keeps
Diminishing returns, man. QED.
And Mateta is still scoring. I think that part of the best thing that happened to them is Mateta scoring goals. Even
did you see the goal, man?
yeah, I think he's a good
Oh,
striker. but
Eze is one person that in short, even that pass alone is a goal.
Eze is
From-
somebody everybody is going to look to buy.
That
this
What are
one.
we
pass-
saying, man?
That pass
Fantastic
alone,
player.
that pass alone. Why you say all these players now? We'll call the scout players. No, we'll see this kind of players scout for our midfield. Why?
Who be our
Because
midfield?
normally wait, calm down. let me finish my sentence. Because normally
Who be our
now
midfield?
when Iwo be the misfire, you can't put Eze for there. Oh, you go out relax, get
For
joy.
Nigeria
Say,
national team.
and now you don't get up our midfield. As Iwo be the misfire for midfield, now you put Eze. Oh, you go relax, say at all.
Eze
Osimhen go get like
Eze wants to play for England.
he go play for England. Dele Alli go ask her wetin happen. Angelo Bona ask her wetin happen. He want to play for Italy. Ask these people wetin happen to them. They don't call for international friendly match and qualifiers. After that, they die down. You get let's just hope England continues to pick on form because now form they speak. If they continue to pick on form, then fine. He has a shot on the national team in the Euros and in the World Cups. He has a shot at it. But if he's let's pick by who is playing for the bigger clubs as usual, he knows the team. When World Cup players drop, you no go see him in the top 50. You no go see him there because in the top 50 you have Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and maybe other big teams before Crystal Palace. You get maybe Champions League contending teams like Aston Villa and Newcastle currently before Crystal Palace. So you no go see him if World Cup time reach. But if I'm just saying if they continue to pick on form, then he's on that team. But look at the player, look at the intelligence. as in the whole, look at the intelligence of a midfielder. That's what you talk. That's what you look out for.
I think Man U should buy him. I think
Eh?
it's better. Let me explain why. Let me explain why Man U should buy him.
No,
Wait,
just
wait.
break
You
my
don't
heart
miss this
now.
guy well at
Wait,
all.
no,
You want me
wait.
to suffer.
Let's
You want me to get called up to England.
Let him cook, let him
He's playing behind a striker
Mhm.
at Crystal Palace,
Mhm.
and they almost basically play the same formation at Manchester United. So you can go and play Boba behind Zeski or Højlund and play him and Fernandes behind both of them. I think they will cook.
It might work. I understand what you're saying. If they are playing a 3,
They will
5,
not cook
this thing.
anything.
But
The food go burn.
the food no go sweet.
Okay, Eze is a star man. Eze and Olise was something else for Crystal Palace last season. Olise have moved on to a bigger club and he is doing very well at Bayern Munich. So I think it's time for Eze to make his own move, probably to a bigger club. But let him not go to a struggling team. I think he should
Let's not go to Man United.
You know,
QED.
we thought Elise was going to struggle at Tottenham at Bayern Munich at first. Like first season,
He's had a
struggled.
phenomenal first season.
But after
man.
just 5 games, he picked up form and he's
I didn't know you. I don't think you struggle.
no. I
Because
like
why
first
think
5 games or
I
first
think
season.
why you not struggle is that
Mm.
Bayern Munich are dominant. And if you look at the players he's competing with, they are always injured. Sane and Gnabry. They are always injured, so I know at some point they will have to drop one of them because both of them cannot play a whole 90 minutes. So I knew that he will not struggle.
What's his name? Coman.
But
Kingsley
the,
Coman.
Coman is always
the most important thing about Mikel Olise's performance at Bayern Munich is that whenever you give him a chance, he turns up. That's
Yes,
the
he
most
plays
important
well.
thing, because if they keep giving opportunity and you're not performing, then you get dropped no matter how much they signed you for.
Okay,
Go look at other clubs.
Ipswich Town played Wolves beating them 2-1. Ipswich Town are going to relegate. Obviously, for Wolves is going to survive because they needed that 3 points. I think that they are now, 7 points ahead of the relegation zone. So, and Forrester is that the Lab scored first in that game. The Lab has something, he has been a good player for Ipswich and he has scored the goals, but somehow they don't actually keep that lead.
12 points.
Now they are 12 points behind. Wolves are 12 points behind Ipswich. There is no way they will not survive. Wolves is probably going to survive, but Ipswich is going to relegate. But good game for Wolves. The new coach came in and fought for his life, and they are going to survive.
Yeah, good game for them. Good game.
Actually, they were at least, I think they were 5 points when the new coach came in, and they were still in that competition of losing games. And you were counting the possible games they were going to lose before the new coach came in. And now look at what's happening.
3 games in a row. They have won 3 games in a row.
The difference, albeit, is that while Wolves have only performed and improved their performances going forward, the other two that were in the conversation of maybe surviving one way or another, Ipswich and Leicester, both of them have had shambolic runs of games, and you can't maintain that type of, let me say, performances week in, week out, and still expect to survive when you have a Wolves that is resurgent under the new man. There's no way it was going to happen. Like both of them are really relegated as far as I'm concerned.
I think
I think the substitute bench actually won him this game. The substitute bench actually won him this game because if you look at the way they played from beginning of game, Ipswich Town had it under control. You get for the first 60 minutes of the game, Ipswich had it under control until the 65th minute they made that sub and things started to go sideways for Ipswich. Getting that goal from Sarabia was good. I think it was one of the results that I say, okay, fine, since we can get the equalizer, we can get the winning goal. And that's the mentality for someone who wants to survive the Premier League. If you can get this equalizer, you can get the winning goal. And they got the winning goal, and that was it for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Okay, Wolverhampton Wanderers is 12 points ahead of Ipswich Town. Leicester is going to play today. Even if they win today, they are still going to be 12 points behind Wolves. So I think the 3 teams that made it to the Premier League last season, 3 of them are going to drop this season. Talking about Ipswich Town, Leicester City, and Southampton. Southampton is already relegated. Okay, let's move on to the next game. West Ham and Bournemouth playing a 2-2 draw. All the goals came from 60 minutes of that game. Okay, Bournemouth scored in the first half, but in the second half, everything changed. West Ham scored 2, and they are on their way to win. 10 minutes to go before Bournemouth made it 2-2 and ended 2-2.
The rejected Stone got a goal in this one, right?
Furuku.
Yes, the rejected Stone got a goal in this encounter. You know?
As he entered a sub now, it was saying starting against the goal. No, you want to hype the
FC.
You want to hype the unhypeable. As he enter a sub, he gets the goal. All the match when start, how many they score?
Check he
As
has goals, man.
sub, he dey score. As sub, he dey score goal. As
It's not
starter,
his fault that he's playing at a substandard team where he's not
where
getting
the
the quality.
substandard dey?
The substandard dey West Ham. Go look at his numbers at
Do you know how many
Dortmund.
chances they created for
Go
him?
look at his numbers at Dortmund, man, and you will
Bro,
be shocked.
pull up his numbers in just half. Wait, let me complete my sentence. Pull up his numbers at Dortmund in just half the season. Guirassy has done the same numbers.
It's not about
In just
Guirassy
half-
doing the
in
same
just
numbers.
half-
Was he in the team that dragged?
Real Madrid to
Saying,
Champions
what
League
are we
now.
saying? What are we saying?
Krug now.
He was there.
It was
Yes,
there.
he was the main
When they
man
leave the line.
He was did
He
well.
now came
well,
to a substandard West Ham that cannot even deliver
It's not
basic
easy to
football.
play for the team, but in goals count. In goals not really.
But
How you go talk
he
say
led
goal
for
no
the team.
count?
He led
How
the
you
line.
go
He
talk
led the
say
line.
goal no
He led
count?
the line. I'm not going. I say I'm not going to argue that. But see, this is now.
You go explain
Wait,
that I'm nothing
This is
for
now.
you. The only difference,
Guirassy dey for that line, and in just less games, he not equal full Krug numbers.
and then
You get
And
even
you
Mamouche.
are the one that is saying here that your striker doesn't need to score goal. You
My striker
said-
no need to score goals.
thank
So
you.
no come here
Thank
hype am
you.
like say
No.
See,
But the
under
problem, the
Moyes,
only
under
excuse me,
different
the only
managers.
difference between full Krug
Mm.
at Dortmund and full Krug at West Ham
Mm.
is the club, nothing else.
Is the club.
Yes, West Ham.
I am bigger than
They are the
Dortmund.
mistake.
Ah,
They are the
Say,
mistake.
Person they carry second every year. Then if they come tired, they come go fourth.
I don't win Champions League before.
Thank you.
Yes.
They don't conquer Europe before.
Thank you.
Dortmund has won
Dortmund.
Champions
Yes.
Dortmund, maybe that and everybody call us Champions League.
League. Okay, that game ended 2-2.
But
Uh,
in general, it was a good game.
it was a
I
good
enjoyed,
game,
I enjoyed
yes.
myself last night.
Okay, let's go to our YouTube channel and talk about one comment on our YouTube channel. Emmanuel, welcome to the show. Remember, guys, you are live on YouTube at Volt FM Sports. And Emmanuel is saying, no, so what are you even saying? Contact and the referee refused to use the VAR. This is why most of Arsenal fans just feel there is conspiracy against the club.
Of course.
I think so. Arsenal fans are.
Netflix FC, they want to blame referee now. They want to blame referee.
Now open daylight robbery.
They want to
Nothing
blame referee now.
don't
Why
worry.
you not score another goal?
Engineer Adesina
The
will call. Don't
equalizer
worry.
came in the
We hear
wait,
direct from
the equalizer came in the
fan.
50th minute or so. Why from 50 something minutes they equalized, or for 48 9 minutes they equalized that goal where they give them that penalty. Why they still get like extra 40 minutes to play? Why they no equalize that?
Okay.
Why
they not find
you
another?
score your 2 goals for second half? The
Yes.
goals came when the goals came. QED.
As they are playing against an Everton side, you should score more.
Okay, let's see what
The three striker.
we think about referees. Referee can decide to give anything they want to give in that game. Okay, let's move on to the last game on Saturday. Is Aston Villa beating Nottingham Forest 2 goals
As
to 1.
predicted.
And the thing about this loss about Nottingham Forest, every other contenders either drop points or
You don't go
lost.
come.
So
You dare
their
not.
position is a little bit
It's
safe.
not
because
it's safe.
imagine if Chelsea won and if City won, they have been in danger of probably even not qualifying for the top 4. But after losing the game, others drop points. But good game for Aston Villa. Look at it. Mellon scored, Rogers scored, they scored in the first half.
Yes.
Even though in the second half they have to defend to keep that lead, but Aston Villa needed that win. Now they are sit on the position with 51 points.
Good game for them. You
They are
can't
just 1
begrudge
point
them that.
behind Manchester City and 2 points behind Chelsea, who are sitting fourth. I think Aston Villa and Emery are doing
They're
well.
fifty-
Good game
Champions
for
League spot
them. Good
again,
game
no?
for them.
Good
Like
game for
you
them.
can't take it away from them. For all the talk about hyping Nuno before the match, for all the talk about hyping the team before the match, how market last.
Nuno is over indexed.
No, it's over
Bro, we
indexing.
said
Let's
it-
call it as it is.
Bro, we
Let's
said it
call
here on the
See,
show.
when you
that
have
is
a
one
purple
piece.
patch, admit you have a purple patch and don't try to make it out to be you are a Haaland kind of a player or you are a once in a generation type of superstar. You have a purple patch and it's fine. You are allowed to over index. But don't come and make it out to be as if you are a superstar or you are a Superman or whatever. You are having a purple patch. QED. Look at the way Aston Villa totally dismantled Nottingham Forest on the night. Look at the quality of supply from Yuri Tillemans. Look at the assists also from Ian Martin. You have a flurry of good performance in the side. It's not just down to Watkins again. It's not just down to having a John Duran. John Duran is out. It's not just down to. It's down to having good quality players in key positions, putting in a shift on the night.
I think what helped Aston Villa is their bench. I think having quality bench is very essential. I keep
Yes.
saying that at any big club. Look at the players they introduced. They introduced Rashford, introduced Ramsey, introduced a whole lot of players that actually changed that game.
McGinn introduced
even
Konsa
McGinn.
as well.
So if you look at Aston Villa, I think Emery has actually silently was
We
cooking,
said it here on
and
the show on
look at-
Saturday
look at
that
where he is.
we've not seen Nottingham Forest do a double over Aston Villa, and we're not going to see it this season. It's still going to be one apiece.
Wow.
If you go back and pull up the replay, I said one apiece. It has been one apiece, and this one again is another one apiece. You get everybody come, take your share and go. Nottingham Forest has taken their 3 points share. It's Aston Villa's turn, and they are playing at home. So at home, it felt like safe for Aston Villa, but Aston Villa had the quality of players on the night and on their bench than Nottingham Forest, who had suffered injury crisis. I would say injury no be excuse.
You know the crazy
Wait
thing
now,
about this
we say
result now is that the rejected stone is performing. That's why sometimes, and no matter how much you rate or you downplay a player's imports, just change the team and that guy can be a super. Look at Disasi. Nobody is talking about Disasi anymore.
Exactly.
This-
Nobody's actually talking about him again.
You
Baba
see the
is
errors
having
wey
the
for
time
this
of
game,
his life.
because the team win. You know, say if they play for generally good team, they're not going to say it be flop.
Wow.
If they play for generally good team, if your team
Every defender makes mistakes.
now look at
Thank you.
wait now look at disaster and Disasi when he was playing with Thiago Silva. It is when as just the win match, they notice a mistake. You know they notice am because Thiago is always there to cover.
So who is covering him now?
If they white trial mix. Even when they
See,
made the
as-
sub, and
You
they
know,
went
you know
trial
the
mix.
funny
You know
part.
when they made the sub
The
and
way
brought in
you are
Konsa.
tapping up Tyrone Mings now, this is a
No,
player
trial
you
mix
would
na
not.
average player. we
No,
know, but
he's not
he
a
gets
player
time-
you you ordinarily hype. No, so this one now you're just hyping him to discredit.
Garcia there for the defense.
You are
Indirectly,
hyping
Aston Villa-
Tyrone Mings to
indirectly in that
discredit
game.
Disasi.
Indirectly in that game, you know Aston Villa went 3 at the back.
You know why I like about this? Is because if you bring in a lone player and he's playing 90 minutes for you,
Yes.
or playing almost every game for you, that means he's actually good.
Thank you.
Because most times, if you bring in a lone player, it's either you in
15 minutes, 30 minutes to bring
But
the
for
person
you to
on.
start
Bro,
coming
bro.
and start playing,
And
and
he's
that
playing
this-
back to back to
Do you
back.
see how deep Andre Onana is? Amadou Onana, sorry, not Andre Onana, the club for Man U. Did you see how deep Amadou Onana was?
You
in that
can
game?
say anything.
Did
to
you see when he made the
discredit
sub and he
Disasi.
brought in Enzri Konsa? Indirectly, you're already playing 3 at the back with Onana dropping deep. So you're playing at least 4 defenders and not even 3 CBs. You're playing 5.
You are just trying to
Center half.
discredit. You are just trying to
You get
discredit
so
Disasi.
we can't continue to come here and hype this Disasi because he's having a fun time at Aston
Bro,
I
you
think they'll
can't
sign
take
him.
it away from him
I think
too.
they will sign
You
him.
can't
off.
take
If
it
they
away
want to
from
sign
him.
everybody that came on loan to Aston Villa, then everybody that is playing in South Sudan, they can't afford to.
You
have all of
can't
them.
take it.
I
You
think
can't take
personally
it
they
from
have
him.
to, for him to
Yes.
be playing this much. I think they are probably going to sign. I think they probably, if they are going to let a player go, probably they have to decide between Rashford and
and you know-
Asensio, who is going to go back to their
Yeah,
parents. But for
I'm
that
hoping
Disasi-
it's Rashford.
And you know there was a Pau Torres on the bench.
for him, that's what I'm saying.
You get-
For you
Pau
have it-
Torres is the main man in
Yeah,
the
man.
center
No,
half.
you know understand now
He's
because of say they
he's
get
the
Champions
main
League
center
now.
half.
You see what
The
I'm
rest
saying?
players for Champions League.
He almost plays almost every game. For you
Yes.
to have a player on loan to play games for you, start games for you, while your permanent players sit on the bench, that means you actually either you are seeing something in training, others
Thank
are not
you.
seeing. But let's see what happens. They are playing Champions League to I think next tomorrow. Next tomorrow on Wednesday they are playing Champions. Arsenal is playing tomorrow. They are playing on Wednesday. Okay, let's go back to the Sunday Super Sunday. Brentford start with Brentford. Okay, let's start with Spurs because all of them played on the same time. Tottenham beating Southampton 3-1. Southampton are going back to Championship. I don't know if this is going to be, or this is the worst record I have seen.
It's already the worst.
Seen
There's
in the
there's
team.
no
10 points in
to
31 games.
tell you how bad it is. To tell
10
you,
points.
excuse me, just to tell you how bad it is, go look at the bottom 3 in the MPFL. They will have a placard to carry against Southampton because they would have been somewhere in the 14th or 15th position in the Premier League. The last team in the MPFL is sitting on more than 22 points. The last Premier MPFL, not England. Go look at the last teams in all the top 5 leagues in Europe, and you come back and you tell yourself that these 3 teams that are occupying those positions in the Premier League should have been relegated on game week 29. Straight up, let them go. Like, you have no importance in this league anymore. Thank you for coming and go back.
Everybody expected Southampton to lose that game, but if you look at this particular game, if you look at the Southampton on the team on its own, if you look at, they have played 31 games, won only 2 games a whole season, drawn
Yes.
4, and lost 25 games. They have
Wow.
scored only 23 goals and conceded 74 goals
Wow.
in this season, and they have only 10 points. This is a very, I don't know if I'm going to say this is the worst Premier League team I've seen in my whole life since I started watching football. You can't even cross the 10 points, even though they have 8 games
They
to
can
cross
still
it.
cross. They have 7
Then,
games to still
yes.
cross. So but-
Optimist, I hear
no,
you.
they still have
They still
7
have
games.
7
You can
games.
still play
I
at
hear
least 2 or
you.
3 draws.
Optimist, I hear
You
you.
can still play at least 2 or 3 draws
They
and
really
win one
manage.
match.
How can you just have 10 points
They should
after
just
30
pack their bags
31
now
games?
and
The
start
last
going
game, I
down
think in the
to
last game they played a
championship.
draw.
Yes, they played the draw,
And
and they
you were
almost won.
and they almost won.
They almost won
So
that game.
there's still possibility of almost winning and playing a draw in the next
And
7
they
games.
should win the 7 games and escape relegation now.
Nobody's saying they should win the 7
Okay,
games.
Spurs winning that game 3 goals to 1. Okay, let's move on to other games that happened on Sunday. On Sunday, Chelsea played a 0-0 draw with Brentford. They went away to play Brentford. I don't know why, but Chelsea fans are angry. If you
They
look
have
at
every right to be angry.
if you look at the starting lineup for Maresca, people are saying, is it that the Premier League, won the top 4? Is the Conference League they are looking out for, because he didn't start Palmer, he didn't start a couple of players.
Yes.
I don't know if he's trying to manage Palmer because he just came back from injury, but Chelsea
Both
fans were
players just came back from injuries
Yes,
and he's
yes.
trying to manage
And
them both.
Chelsea fans are saying, almost start being players for us. Don't start people that we are not sure of. But it didn't work out for them. That game ended 0-0, even though the other results worked out for them in other games. But it was a 0-0. It was a disappointing game all around.
I will not say the same thing for Saka and come and change it. This guy is just coming back from injury. He had half an hour stint in the last game. Same thing with this one. You have half an see. I said it from the beginning of the season. I'll say it again. If a player comes back from injury and you rush him into the starting lineup and he plays 90 minutes for you, bros, expect the doctors to call him back to the hospital. It's as simple as that. If your player is coming back from injury, a crucial injury that kept him out on the sidelines for more than 6 weeks. Let's say Palmer did not go out for more than 6 weeks, maybe a couple of games, and he came back straight into the lineup. Fine, he should be starting. But if your player was out for more than 6 weeks and immediately he comes back to training, and the next game he plays half an hour, and after that he's played the 90 minutes for you, bros, doctor will still call him back, and then go there for a very longer period. Go and ask all the likes of Real Madrid players how market. Go and ask the likes of Alfonso Davies how market, or what's it called, Kingsley Coman how market. Even the likes of Loris Sane, ask them how market. The likes of this James, thank God you see the man is still managing him. Now he's beginning to play this James starting, and after 60 minutes he takes him out. That's how to introduce the players to the side. When you bring him in 30 minutes to the end of the game, he plays the 30 minutes. After 2 games, you play him for the next 60 minutes. You start the next one and play 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, you take him out and bring in somebody else. Then from there, you see how fit he can be. Then he starts playing 90 minutes. So that's what I'm expecting for Jackson. You get? And in that game, you saw when he started the Nkunkus and everybody, it was like Chelsea didn't have enough going for them in the offensive. But immediately after the sub, they had every cross going into. Everybody was trying to cross the ball in. Now they had somebody that was going to stand in between the striker, only in between defenders, and expect a cross in.
I think
And they were beginning to cross the ball in, but
this game was a
Brentford defense was
disappointing game for Chelsea fans, and they have every right to believe it right now, right? And I like the fact that it's a disappointing game. I like the fact that Chelsea fans are angry, because you can stare yourself in the face and tell yourself an ugly truth, which is Chelsea don't have a side. They don't have a side. If the main man is not available, nobody else can pick up the slack. That's what it's looking like, man. That's what it's looking like. You talk about, for all the talk about having the big players, the big men doing the work they are doing, and for all the demerits out there that are still going to call in and talk down Palmer's importance in the team, you are still asleep, because look at the game. No Palmer for the better part of 60 minutes in that encounter. How many chances created? Of all the big names, the Nkunku, you talk about the Gisbehol, the Sancho, Madeke, Alpha, nothing from anybody. Nothing from anybody. So I think what this game does for everybody is to tell Chelsea fans, bring your expectation low. They say that the secret to happiness is lower expectation. Chelsea fans, lower your expectations, and then go into the summer and clear out some people who are occupying space that do not have any quality they're adding to the team. How can you rest a Palmer and then you can't score 1 goal in 90 minutes? How can you rest a Palmer and you can't? How can you rest a Jackson and you don't have anybody that can go in there and play a solid game, put in a performance. Look at the tinkering again, Reece James at left back. We are still seeing that going on, taking him off later in the game and bringing somebody on. But look at that. It still shows that Enzo Maresca has no excuse now to say that he doesn't know who he needs to let go of and who he needs to bring in for the summer.
Okay,
It's clear for him to see.
that game ended 0-0. Chelsea are still fourth after that draw in that game. They are still fourth with 53 points. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Liverpool lost away to Fulham 3 goals
As
to 2.
predicted.
And even at some point, they scored first in the 14 minutes, but Iwobi and all these guys started scoring. They scored 3 in the first half to make it 3-1 in the first half. Iwobi scored a goal and had an assist in that game. Even they scored in the 75th minutes of the game to make it 3-2. But Fulham held their defense, held their line to get all 3 points from that game. Everybody was a surprise, especially when Liverpool scored first. Everybody was thinking that okay, they scored first, they are going to run away with this game. But
No be who first call
I think
police.
Arsenal fans will be angry because it's a disappointment. It could have been 9 points.
Could have been 9 points on the night.
Now it's still 11 points.
Now the hope of Arsenal fans will come back to life. Say if they say Arsenal win, they proceed for title contention. Look on rest.
But it's true. Imagine if it was 9 points, you have to play Liverpool, you have to go loud. If you win Liverpool, you become 6 points, and you are hoping and something will happen. And they not 6 points.
I like this hope.
But this particular game,
I like this opium.
3 goals to 2 for Fulham. Good game for Iwobi, especially.
Good game for Fulham. Nobody saw it coming, but I called it here. It was a spoiler, right? Look at it, 3 goals in less than 15 minutes. Not be by who first call police. Not be by who first. I will still say it here. Scoring first is good, though. Score the first, though, but don't go to sleep and expect Fulham to keep quiet in their own home. It's not going to happen. Good game for them. Sessegnon on the first goal. He will be on the second. Muniz on the third. He will be creating the third. Fantastic. Now we saw Liverpool fighting back for the first time in this season.
It's not the first time.
Fighting back. No. Fighting back from a 3-goal deficit. First time in the season.
2 goes down now because they already leading 1-0.
I mean 2 goals. Are they in the
yes,
time in the
2
season?
goes down. Yes.
I think against Fulham.
2 goes down.
When they ended it 4-4, 4-4,
2-2 draw.
Okay, I
you
think
get
so.
And no, some
3
other
go
game.
down, man.
Which 3 go down?
It's
It's
2-1.
2-1.
You've considered 3.
It's not 2-3-1.
First in history this season. Excuse me. Let me enjoy. Excuse me. Don't take away my shine right now.
The Badele just wants sweet.
Yes,
it's point out.
You sang a song earlier.
Let it flow.
You sang a song when we started the show, and I am now enjoying the song because it is what it is. 3 goals in 15 minutes. 3.
What now happened?
First time conceding. Excuse me. First time conceding 3 in against any opponent this season. First time. Liverpool fighting to get back into a game. This is the first time they fought to get back into a game, get back onto level points and fallen short. First time.
This is against Southampton.
First time, man.
They were down, 2 goals down, and they won their game.
And that's why I'm saying that this is the first time that they've gone down and they failed to get back on level terms.
This is against Fulham. This is against some other top teams.
How many games have they lost this season?
1.
Thank you. This is the first time they fought to get back on level terms.
That one they fought to get back short.
Did they fall
and that one they even failed to score.
Did they fall short in that encounter?
Yes.
They lost in that encounter.
Nottingham Forest.
Yes.
And they failed to score a goal.
I'm not telling you that this is the first time.
As long as Liverpool score goal for this match, I rest my case. They
if you like, rest your case 1,000 times.
In this game, look at the game. They were forget we say Arsenal referee is against us. In this one, referee not against them. Because they were clear-cut fouls that could have been given a yellow card.
Wow.
If you give that guy a yellow card 2 times, na red card.
Wow.
But they don't give even card. They don't even call out a warning at all. They just let them play on.
Okay.
Liverpool were bamboozled. QED.
That game ended 3 goals to Liverpool, losing their second game of the Premier League season. They lost. The only games they lost before now is against Nottingham Forest at Anfield. Now they lost against Fulham away from home. Okay, let's go on to the final game. It's the Manchester Derby, ended 0-0. Manchester United and Man City played a 0-0 draw. And both of them, I can't tell what, I don't know if I enjoyed the game or not, but it's somewhere around the middle. It was nice to see but it wasn't nice to say at the same time. I can't explain it, but 0-0, I won't say it's a boring game, but it was a good game. For example, Man U had 13 shots with 2 shots on target.
Mm-hmm.
Man City had 9 shots in total with 5 on target.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the possession, it's basically 50-50 because Man U had 41 and Man City ended up with 59 points. If you look at the both games, I can't tell because I watched the game. Apart from the Mamouche free kick that was saved by Onana, and Zeski's shot in the 18-yard box that was saved by, I can't remember a very clear-cut chance in that game. So it was two teams playing safe and trying to block.
I like the fact that you say you cannot see a clear-cut chance there, because I want to jump the gun and make a striking statement here. If 9 out of the 11 players in that Man U team had the pace of Garnacho, had the zeal of Garnacho, had the energy of Garnacho, it would have been a totally different encounter.
Because
no, forget about Dogu. I'm talking about Garnacho, because that's the guy
ran into space.
That's the guy that you are seeing that is creating chances.
He had 3 shots in this game.
I'm not calling Dogu because Garnacho has been doing it season in, season out. That's why I'm calling Garnacho.
Bros, pass the ball.
It's not about pass the ball, man.
Don't run into a brick wall. Pass the ball. Raise your head up. As a baller, when you run 2 steps, you raise up head.
Look at the attempts made on the night. Look at that pari passu with the other unprofitable servants up front that call themselves strikers in this encounter. Look at it. Look at the pari passu with the unprofitable servants, and you go back and you give the young man a tap on the shoulder. Bro, you are doing well. Keep it up.
Okay, no, so that game 0-0 ended 0-0.
For all the hype about Garnacho running into brick walls, trying to take on defenders you know are better than you, and when you take on, it's like you knowing that, oh, your dribble skill is not there, but you want to attempt. Bro, attempt in training. When you come to the field, look up, pass the ball.
Wow.
See, there's a thin line between I can do this and see, let me take the best option. The best option is doing the basic, passing the ball, not dribbling anybody, not finding the
exceptional
highlight.
players don't do the basic.
You get? Yamal knows when to pass and knows when to take on. Great players. Let's call his teammates in the side. Amad Diallo knows when to take on and when to dribble and when to pass. Because when you hold up play, because when you pass the ball and you make the right passes and you make the right choice or right decisions on the field, your team holds on to the ball for a longer period and it opens up the loophole or the crack in the wall of the position's defense. That's one thing you need to understand. When your team holds on to the ball for a longer period, you see all those gap in between defense. But when you say you want to take on and you lose the ball, bro, when you keep losing the ball like that, you don't see those gaps because you feel like there's no gap there.
Wow, so you only see gaps when you own.
And for Garnacho, when you pass the ball more into the final third and you hold more of the possession, you see those gaps.
Bro, name me one player in that side apart from Dogu who had put that defense under more tension and more pressure than Garnacho yesterday.
Joshua.
Name me one player apart from Zeski, apart from Dogu who did.
I just named you one, Joshua.
Okay,
Wow.
That game.
Wow.
Casemiro.
That game.
Not
ended
as
0-0.
much as Garnacho did, man.
That game ended 0-0 and both teams are building, especially for Manchester City. That second half was disappointing because they didn't create enough in that second half. But Pep have to find a way to first qualify for the Champions League, then we build for next season because you cannot have this kind of season.
If both teams are building, I will tell you that every Manchester United fan out there will beg to have an off-season like we're having right now.
Yes, but everybody has different standard. Now, for Manchester United, their standard are lower. If they qualify for the top 4 next season, I think it's going to be good for them. For Manchester City, think about testing trophy, testing sugar. For example, when Manchester United from that 2013, 2014, the last time they won the Premier League was 2013. 2014, they had a rough season, they finished Champions League spot, but they were complaining. They sat Moyes, brought in because they have tested success for a very long time. They didn't know what it means to not qualify for the Champions League or not challenge for the Premier League. But now everybody have understood that the same with City now. Because City have tested for last 10 years, they have tested sugar for the past 10 years. City, imagine a City fan telling a City fan last season that they are not going to qualify for the Champions League next season. They will not believe it.
It's not everything in stone, man.
So, but let's see what happens at the end of the season. That game ended 0-0 in the Super Sunday. I won't even call it Super Sunday because how can you have a Super Sunday with 73 points? Arsenal is second with 62 points. Nottingham Forest is third with 57 points. Chelsea fourth with 53 points. Fifth is Manchester City with 52 points. Aston Villa is in sixth with 51 points, just 2 points behind Chelsea. For the relegation battle, obviously, if Ipswich Town 18th with 20 points, they are going to relegate. 19th is Leicester City with 17 points, and Southampton are rock bottom with just 10 points. Today's fixtures is Leicester City will host Newcastle. If Newcastle win, they are going to be in that contention or draw level with Chelsea. So it's going to be an interesting result for if Newcastle wins today. Let's jump to the La Liga before we start taking calls. Real Madrid lost in the weekend.
As predicted.
Valencia beating them 2-1 in that game. Valencia scored in the almost in the last kick of the game to beat Real Madrid. Probably somewhere Arsenal fans were having hope. Woo! It go shock you now. They go just trash Arsenal for that game. You think it's like that? So, but Real Madrid losing 2-1 against Valencia at the Santiago Bernabeu. But that same game, Barcelona failed to take all maximum points after they drew with Real Betis a 1-1 at Nou Camp. The thing about both teams, since Anthony came there, they have been winning games or drawing games. Anthony has brought them luck. And let's hope that luck will continue. But that game ended 1-1 in the La Liga. Atletico Madrid won
As
two
the
goals.
winners of this
won
one.
2-1 against Sevilla. So the table is taking a little bit shape. If you look at who is first on that table, Barcelona still stay first with 67 points, 4 points ahead of Real Madrid, who are second with 63 points. Atletico is just 3 points behind Real Madrid in top with 60 points. But let's see who is going to win in that Pichichi record, in that top scorer in the La Liga. Both Lewandowski and Mbappe failed to score this weekend. Okay, let's take phone calls and get your reaction about the games that happened throughout the weekend, especially that Manchester derby. Tell us what you think. The number to call is 0706 048 5853. Yeah, hello, good morning. Good morning. Name and location, please.
Bishop from Tansiku.
Okay, what is our contribution?
I'm angry. I don't know why you guys are bothering yourself about the baby. To be honest, the baby did not baby. I just got aligned with Godwin. Nothing to show for it. Nothing like it.
Mhm.
I rate it 0/10.
Chai.
There was no show, no energy, nothing. I don't see why KDB should play 90 minutes in that game, and he was left to do that. And what are we talking about that game? Nothing, no energy, no goal, nothing. It was like a charity match. Have you watched a charity match?
Yes.
Not a charity match between a young boy, but a charity match with Man 40 years old, Man 15 years old, and 50 years old. The one they play like that match with Gabon. That one had no energy because if you want the goal that really score that game, then you feel that there's something to watch. But this one, nothing. Kanacho was beautifully being rubbish. Have you heard something like that?
Thank you.
Nonsense.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are, as in like, you are hardworkingly doing nothing. I don't know which you're trying to get me, but it's rubbish for me from A to Z. I have to talk about that game. But the surprise and the shock was the Liverpool and Durham. Even though I predicted it, I knew something is still going to happen. Even the remaining game, you're still going to see draw on Liverpool and lose on Liverpool, draw on Arsenal and lose on Arsenal. My point that day was like, so you being at top, he already has no advantage. Because for you to garner 49 points on 8 or even 5 ahead, then you have more advantage.
Yeah.
Because nobody is sure for now. That's my point. Liverpool may still lose. But Arsenal also can still draw, can still lose.
Yeah.
But you being on top, you are there. So that was the shocking result for some people, but for me, it's not really shocking because I expected it. But Liverpool has done a great job for being there with that kind of magic.
Yeah.
So they can't just go like that and lose the game. Thank
Okay.
you. The baby is annoying.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take more calls. 0706 048 5853. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning guys.
Good
This is
morning.
Alex calling now.
Good morning. Name and location. Okay, Alex from Enugu, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your contribution?
I don't know why John is really laughing. I don't know whether that is his smile or you are laughing. Yeah, you see the Manchester derby. It should have been what it is like the result. It should have been like that if said maybe 2 years chances. We are woeful. We are very woeful in front of those. I must say especially that young guy that they call Ganacho.
Mm.
But anyway, I don't know if he's learning, whether he used to watch Yaman Musiala. I don't know if he's watching, what is his name? This guy that is in Barcelona.
Yamal.
Yamal also, and even Pedri, because Ganacho is not only playing that left wing, he can also play that right wing. So I don't understand the situation whereby you know that this is a crucial game for you, and it's a derby also that you come just like also said, you are seeing opportunity to do pass, and you're not doing pass, and you're telling me you only Ganacho that has more energy and he has been running, and you're running into those big words. And you know that Diaz is not some easy bypass. I don't understand to Frank, I don't understand. But that one is that shot. Talking about Rashford also, people are saying Aston Villa this, that. And when this happens, you should not even try of doing that. People don't understand the going to play for this top system. They could go in that Aston Villa. I mean, Villa is a good coach that is bringing the best out of them. And that the game also brings lesser pressure. And Sati and Aaron Rashford, they continue to play like that. You can tell you to go down for Champions League. You don't know how I will take penalty. It's just only if that Sati will not play. I don't see anything special in that. Even when I was in Chelsea, I'm telling you, I don't see anything special in that. As for Rashford, let him remember, like I used to say, let him remember. See that that La Liga is just like I've always said. He's one of the five threes I've ever seen in that La Liga title. That level, in fact, this weekend is even somehow that one are drawing. Imagine at their own backyard, even if they come out, they win they got even that minute. You understand? So that La Liga is somehow, and it's looking interesting also. I must say, it's very, very looking interesting.
All right, thank you very much.
Nottingham Forest, they didn't come good at the day. That, but I know that they can still win. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for that contribution. Okay, let's maybe take one before we do the MPFL happened and Rangers drew throughout the weekend. I don't think we are playing continental except we win something. Will be presidential FA Cup, but let's take phone calls. Yeah, hello, good morning. Good morning. Name and location, please. Okay. Happy New Week. And what's your contribution?
Yeah, my birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Pedro. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, bro.
Okay, Pedro. What's your contribution, Pedro?
Good morning.
Yeah, talking about that yesterday Manchester Derby, that does not look like a Manchester Derby win because it was a boring game, and it was also a boring game at the competitive game. Brentford. But I'm happy that United got the point there, so that we can just stay ahead of.
So that you can still be in your top 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also with Jessica as well for that top 4 and for Liverpool. Whether they take their match, they cannot lose that league. They are the owner of that league already. So Arsenal fans now winning. If Liverpool is first match, Arsenal will be big match.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what happens.
If Liverpool lose 5, Arsenal will lose 6.
Wow. Problem is that Arsenal is not consistent.
Oh.
Remember when City is chasing them? City was consistent. That's why they have to win the league. Even though Arsenal was about 4 points ahead of them, but City was winning.
It's still the same thing this season. The biggest outlier this season of where the season is heading is City falling off. Because even with these points, if City were, let's say, 50% of how they were last season, they'll cover the points on all of them.
And Liverpool will sleep.
But if
when you use Cutlass, they push
it sleeping right now, man.
I'm just
saying
that
the person
right
to
now.
run.
I'm just saying that the title race maybe last 5 years, 6 years ago, from 5 or 6 years ago, if you look at them, every team that is chasing, even when Liverpool was chasing Man City, they were consistent. Because that's why they finished with 97 points. They didn't win because they were consistent. But Arsenal is not even consistent.
Arsenal
They pushing me with Cutlass.
You know the funny part about this conversation is that you can be ahead of City with 5 points, 7 points, 8 points. You're not even safe.
Yes, that's the point.
You're not safe.
If you are chasing me with Cutlass, I will definitely run until I wake up in a dream. I will run until I wake up. But Arsenal has chased and chased and chased. Even though they are chasing, they are tired of chasing.
Okay, let's take this call. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. Again.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Also, good morning, John.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Name and location, please.
In addition of
Welcome. I've been
good morning,
waiting.
engineer.
Welcome. What is your contribution?
John, no mind not so.
Thank you.
That boy is singing it for himself, lives not so. You know about Bele FC.
Normally, now we know.
The thing wey is bitter na him still dey pain am. But that is like it or not.
Mhm.
You know, you see the beauty of us now.
Mm.
I just happy for the game of the two Man U. I
Uh,
call them two Man U, and because you know that all the Chelsea think that the Man U will fall down or Man will fall down, but the game come to draw. I love that game as it be.
mm.
If you not forget what is happened last season, that's why they robbed Arsenal for that the same stadium and last season. So this season again is happened. No problem. You already take the 1 point. But that Liverpool like it or not, let us watch it before the match be end and this season be end. Gunners for life.
Okay, thank you
So,
very
so
much.
as Arsenal happen now, they fail to score another goal.
Okay, let's see what happens with the Premier League come end of the season. Let's move on to the MPFL results in the MPFL. Bendel Insurance 0, Enugu Rangers 0. Atlanta were beating Caterpillars 2 goals to 1. Lobby Star and Sunshine Star played a 1-1 draw. The Niger Tornadoes 2, El Kanemi Warriors 0. Plateau United and Akwara United played a 0-0 draw. Enyimba beating Abia Warriors at that local derby 2 goals to 1. Enyimba winning that game. Rivers United is beating Remo Stars 1 goal to 0. That means
Nice one.
it's a very good result for Rivers United. National United beating Aqua United 2 goals to 0. Castor United and Bayelsa United played out the 1-1 draw. Shooting Star and Ikorodu City played a 1-1 draw. If you look at the league table after that win for Rivers United, Rivers are now 5 points behind Remo Stars, even though they have played one game better than Remo Stars. So Remo Stars still stay first with 60 points. Rivers United with 55 points in second. Abia Warriors, even though they lost against Enyimba City, they are 50 points, stay on third position. Fourth position is Shooting Star with 48 points. Rangers International are fifth on the table with 46 points. Poor result for Rangers International. We see start picking points. So if you know if you can qualify for the Continentals, even though we still have the Presidential FA Cup to play, if we win that, we will qualify for the Confederation Cup. But we need to, fifth is bad. Fifth is bad. Having 46 points, do you know how many points we're behind the league leaders? Is so much points. But I don't think we can cover those points, even if they
14
lose.
points.
Even if they lose all their games, they just will not win all their games. So
14 points.
but let's see what happens with Rangers International. They went away to draw that game. It was a poor result for Rangers International. If you look at their last 5 games, they have only won once in last 5 games, lost 2, drawn 2, and won only 1 in the last 5 games. We need to start picking up points and start winning our games. Okay, tomorrow we'll come back here and talk about football again. Tomorrow is the Champions League knockout stages. It's the quarterfinal of the Champions League is happening tomorrow, and the 2 English teams will going to represent England, Aston Villa and Arsenal. They are playing Tuesday and Wednesday of that encounter. Tomorrow we'll come back and talk about that game. Is going to be, and let me say, it's hope for Arsenal tomorrow. They have all the hope. They need all the luck they need in this life to beat Real Madrid, because when it comes to Champions League, they talk about Real Madrid. They cannot talk about Champions League without talking about Real Madrid. So Arsenal have a whole lot to think about. Arteta probably he started thinking already. Yeah, we're going to see what he's going to bring out for everybody for tomorrow's game. But everybody knows what Ancelotti is going to. Ancelotti doesn't change tactics. That thing is playing anyway.
As I said, they work.
beginning.
The thing is, he has started last night, and let's hope he starts again.
Okay.
Let's hope the loss continues.
Let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about that game, preview that game that's happening tomorrow in the Champions League. My name is Godwin, and have a blessed week. See you tomorrow.
Enugu, and welcome to Volt 104.3 FM, where music meets the voltage. Take a break and enjoy the show.
Sports. Alex Iwobi gets the ball out to the left-hand side. The delivery comes in. Oh, it's a great goal! Entertainment. News and politics.
Enugu State's governor has sent us to
Gospel.
and let them have dominion. The kingdom of God
the
even
16
remember
people.
that there's still golden job like that.
Holding for body.
Mm.
Come on, off this thing now.
Daalụ nụ ndị be anyị, ekele
Bayern
m unu.
Inter,
Igbo ndị
nobody
ọma
talking
njem
about
ọnụ,
that.
unu a na-emekwa
So what
ọfụma?
again?